Okay, the time is 6:02. We've gotten all the technical issues under control. I'm going to call the meeting of the Madawan Aberdeen Regional School District Board of Education to order. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or agreed upon. In accordance with the provision of this act, the Madawan Aberdeen Regional School District Board of Education advertised this meeting on July 10th, 2020, in the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger. This notice was sent to the municipal clerks of the Borough of Madawan and Township of Aberdeen and Madawan Aberdeen Public Library. The notice was also placed on the district's website. Can you take roll call, please, sir?
Ms. Ahern?
Here.
Ms. Escalante?
Here.
Mr. Branham?
Here.
Ms. Martinez?
Here.
Mr. Monzon? Ms. Osborne? Ms. Whalen?
Here.
Ms. Moore?
Here.
Ms. Friedman?
Here.
Thank you.
We can stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. The first issue on the agenda is the minutes. I would ask for a motion to accept the minutes from the board retreat, June 6, 2020, the executive meeting minutes from June 6, 2020, regular action meeting minutes from June 15, 2020, and executive meeting minutes from June 15, 2020. Can I have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So, good evening, everybody. It is good to see that there are a lot more people from the public here present. I know that there's a lot going on and many people have many questions. I want to start off saying that one of the things that we've done, that this board has done, is we now have meetings every week in August. So we will be very accessible to the public. You will be seeing the notices going up on the website like you did this week. And I encourage any questions that anybody might have to be sent to that email address. First, I want to really also congratulate those kids and those parents who had kids graduate, the 8th grade as well as our seniors and our promoted students. I had the privilege of going to 3 out of the 4 ceremonies, and it was just as emotional as it is when it's at Brookdale. It was great to see the kids together as much as possible, but also far enough apart. And it was very telling how mature our students are when you see not one mask came off. Kids were not fiddling with them. They were acting responsible. They were acting mature. And they were acting grateful for having the opportunity to graduate in a ceremony that they somewhat expected it to look like. That being said, I want to thank the administration and the faculty for making that happen. It was not a small task. Every time we try and do something, there's 2 or 3 other dominoes that end up having to fall, and we have to figure out a way to pick them up again. So every time we move at the district, every time we ask this administration to do something, somehow they're able to pull it off, and they do it in a way that really keeps our kids' health and safety at the paramount. And as a parent and board president, thank you very much for all the work that you put in. I also want to thank the board members. Some of us are here, some of us, we're socially distanced so you can't see us, all on the camera at the same time. Some of us are virtual from their homes still, but this board is being asked to put in more hours than certainly I have ever before, that I've seen before. There are committees that have been formed, and those committees have board representation on them. You're going to hear about that a little later. We've sent out surveys trying to include, obviously, our parents as much as possible in this process, but it is a process, and like I said before, every single time the district goes to do something, there's 2 other dominoes that fall that we got to figure out how to stand up again. On another positive note, extended school year has started. It was actually great to see some of the kids back at Cambridge today. We had sports that began. I know that my son plays soccer. I know there's some other parents who are on the board whose kids play. Unfortunately, that had to cancel, or stop, I should say. And, you know, that's not a good thing. It's really impressive that, again, not only are the players taking this in stride, but to see the accountability and the responsibility that the parents are taking in reporting that to the district. It really is so important to make the next few months and September work. So I'd like to thank the athletic department, the coaches, the principal for having plans in place to really make sure that our children are safe. The task that is in front of us, it's not easy. It, however, is something that we absolutely can do. What we've been through has only shown that us as a community, as a district, we can do this together. We will continue to do this together. And whatever shape September comes in, we're going to do it as one nation and one Madawan-Aberdeen family. With that, every member on this board with a child in district is on one of those committees. We're taking it very, very seriously. We are looking at all of the responses that we've gotten from the surveys. And what I ask the community is your continued support, your patience, and your help in keeping kids safe. This is the best place to get the most accurate information. So I do hope that people who are here tonight will continue to take advantage of the increased communication that we are providing. And that ends my president's report. With that, Dr. Mike, I would turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Friedman. Good evening, everyone. Yesterday, the governor announced an all-virtual option for students with the opening of school in September. Having said that, tonight, a survey at 7 o'clock is going to go out to families specific to the virtual option. So I would just ask the community to please look out for that survey. And if you could diligently get that back to us, that would be a great help as we plan our reopening for the fall. Also, starting next week, we will once again start with our weekly update letters to the community and staff, which will commence next Wednesday. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Palmadier, would you like to take us through curriculum and instruction?
Sure, good evening. Beginning with Part 8, travel, we have 3 staff members attending the Linda Mood Bell Visualizing and Verbalizing workshop, and we have 8 teachers attending the Orton Gillingham training, which is going to be another virtual workshop. The dates on the agenda should include August 7th, so in addition to the dates there, it will also include August 7th for the minutes. And that's all for travel. Moving on to Part B of curriculum and instruction. Item number 1 is asking the board to approve the following goals for the 2020-2021 school year. These are a continuation of the goals the Board of Education had from the current 19-20 school year, and we do look to engage in the strategic planning process that we were not able to complete due to the emergency school closure. So each of the goals as indicated. Item number 2 is asking the board to approve Madawan Regional High School to host an American Red Cross blood drive on February 23rd, 2021 for district staff, and this will be no cost to the district. Item number 3 is asking the board to approve the amended 2020-2021 school calendar. That is curriculum and instruction attachment 2. The changes involve taking the in-service date from October 12th and the in-service date from March 12th and moving that into September. And September 3rd and 4th will now become professional development days, so that first week of September will be all professional development as we have a number of important topics that we need to review with staff. Item number 4 is asking the board to approve the Teaching Through a Culturally Responsive Lens proposal between Leading Equity LLC and the Madawan-Aberdeen Regional School District. And this is a 6-week e-learning course that will enable participants to cultivate their cultural awareness and delivery to their students and their families. and that is all for curriculum and instruction. Regarding curriculum and instruction, 2 quick updates. The first update involves G&T. Through the process and in collaboration with other districts within Monmouth County, we made a decision for the G&T program, the 3rd grade self-contained at Cliffwood. Given that we do not have the data points for the upcoming year to identify the students, the recommendation is to have that 3rd grade self-contained. We will not run that for the 2021 school year. Those students that were in the 3rd grade self-contained will move up to the Lloyd Road self-contained G&T class that we have at the 4th grade level and the 5th grade level. And students in 3rd grade will continue to be identified for gifted and talented and receive pull-out services, but we will not have that self-contained G&T class at Cliffwood Elementary School for the upcoming school year, just due to the lack of data points that we currently have. And then one other update is a CTE, which is Career and Technical Education. We are looking to establish at the high school a Career and Technical Education Advisory Committee, and this will allow us over the course of 2 years to refine and enhance our career academies. Our focus will be on the Business Academy. We will look to have an alignment and sequence of Business Academy courses to build on our current courses such as Business Administration, Marketing, and a new course that we're bringing in next year, which is Supply Chain Management. So a requirement of a career and technical education program is that you form a committee, and this committee will include individuals who experience an ability in the area of business, so local businesses, teachers, administrators. Will also include post-secondary institutions and partnerships, as well as parents and students and district representatives. So the high school will be looking to form that CTE committee, and that will be the first step in the process in eventually 2 years to obtain Perkins funding for a sequence of courses. So that is all for curriculum instruction. Thank you.
Can I get a motion and a second to accept the curriculum and instruction agenda?
I'll motion. I'll second.
And let's do it this way. Can we do questions now on curriculum and instruction? Any questions, comments from the board?
Quick question. The 3rd grade, that it used to be self-contained, correct? But just this coming year, it's not self-contained due to the lack of data because of COVID basically shutting
Yeah,
down?
there's a number of assessments that we use, as well as a G&T screener. We weren't able to administer the screener, so, and then we will convene the G&T committee really to determine what's the best approach to move forward. But the upcoming year, that self-contained at Cliffwood would not happen, but we'd still identify the students that they would receive services.
And they'll be ready to get into 4th grade for self-contained?
And those students will roll into the 3rd grade students from the previous year. This current school year will roll into the 4th grade self-contained at Lloyd Road.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? It's much easier when we're all in the same building. Ms. Perez, can you take us through special services, please?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Under Special Services, item number 1, we're asking for board approval for the agreement between the following provider, Burlington County Special Services School District, for the 2021 school year on an as-needed basis for the evaluations listed and the cost is listed as well. Under item number 2, we're asking for board approval for the following students to attend an out-of-district placement for the 2021 school year. It was previously approved, and it's noted here on June 15th of this year, 2020. The correction is listed with the cost listed. Under item number 3, we're asking for board approval for the following student to attend an out-of-district placement for 2021 school year. The schools listed, as well as the cost and the effective dates of July 1 through June 30th of 2021. And that extends to page 2, at the top of page 2. Under item number 4, we're asking for board approval to approve the following service provider to provide one-to-one nursing, in-person nursing services for the 2020 ESY as well as the 2021 school year. I want to emphasize that the nursing is for in-person only. The costs are listed along with the effective dates. Under item number 5, we're asking for board approval for the following extraordinary services adjustment for the 2015-16 school year. Again, we do need to get certification from the state since this is being beyond the 2 years that we would typically receive these adjustments for the school year. So we will be requesting that. Under item number 6, we recommend the recommendation for approval for the following extraordinary services adjustment for the 2018-19 school year as listed for New Grange and also for Search Day program. Under item number 7, we're asking for board approval for the following providers for the 2021 school year on an as-needed basis for the following evaluations. That includes physical therapy as well as educational evaluations. That concludes the agenda for special services. I did want to share a brief update about extended school year. In-person services, we started on Monday. We have a total of 40 students coming. They're coming for PT, OT, speech, counseling, and special instruction. The other, it's a hybrid model, so it's both in-person as well as virtual. There's another 60 students that are just doing total virtual for services as well as instruction. We've been providing the services here at Cambridge Park, following the New Jersey Youth Camp guidelines and standards. So we are doing temperature checks on all staff, students, visitors that are here and that arrive here to Cambridge Park. In regards to the services that are being provided is one-to-one, and we are using all safety and healthy protocols, meaning the mask, and we also have the plexiglass as well that we're utilizing. In addition to the services, we started testing for our child study team evaluations that commenced today. We had a total of 10 evaluations that we were able to schedule. We have a total of a little over 100 students to test since we closed down in March. So we will continue testing and providing the services throughout the remainder of the summer months and pick back up in September. And that concludes special services on the update.
Okay, and I just wanted to take a minute to note that it looks like Board Member Montone is on, and I thought I saw Ms. Osborne as well.
Yes, I see.
Yes. With that, can I get a motion, any second, to accept the special services agenda?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Are there any questions or comments from the board regarding that agenda?
One question, please. Want to go for that? Okay. But just a quick question, because I know at the summer school, the ESY, sorry. So it's a small scale of students, but how's the district doing the temperature checks? Like, how is that working out, or what's the procedure that's happening now?
Okay. So the procedure is that there is only one entryway for all staff, including the other side of the central office. So we enter through, and I'm pointing over here, but they can't see, but we enter through the main entrance, and then when the nurses are here in the vestibule. So we do the temperature checks, as well as the questionnaire and the screening tool, which is asking the series of questions that you would typically get asked at a doctor's office or somewhere else.
So that screening tool, I've seen that at doctors that I went to. So is it just one time, or is that, do they have to fill out the paper like every week, are they
Every
going
day.
to do
Every
it?
day.
Or every day
Every
they
day.
have to stop, fill out the paper, and get the temperature check?
Every day, the screening is completed and the temperature check is completed.
And that's for the 40 students plus the staff?
Correct. So we are collecting all of that information and maintaining that information, because should someone, God forbid, somebody test positive, then we are able to then say, okay, it happened in this location, and meaning the rooms, or who that person may have come into contact with as well.
So what time are people arriving compared to the start time, just to check 40 people?
So they're not arriving all at the same time.
Okay.
Typically, our employees are arriving between 8 and 8:30, so they know, and they've been coming a little bit earlier. Students arrive here, the staff working arrive here at 8:30, and then the students arrive at 8:45. So the other key piece I forgot to mention, I apologize, is that we also allow time for cleaning in between any of the sessions. So we are doing that as well. So it's staggered, the schedule, so we don't have a lot of parents all showing up at the same time because we are limited with space. So we're utilizing all of Cambridge Park preschool classrooms, those rooms for instruction and for services. And then for testing, we're utilizing some of the rooms that we have up here in special services.
Thank you. Good start, right?
Yes, it's been very fun.
Ms. Burns, I just have one question. I just want to make sure I understand the 2015, 2016 adjustment. So if it's beyond the 2 years, then it goes to the state for certification? Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what Alex and I are working on. We're going to
Okay. And
request
then
a certification.
if they say it's been too far gone, then we don't owe that cost?
I would
If we're like-
presume that, but I don't want to, I'm not really sure. That's the first time that
Because
that's
5
ever
years
happened.
seems like a long time for a cost to come through.
Agreed. But I'll update the board on that here.
Anybody else have any questions on special services? Okay, Mr. Liebman, that takes you to personnel, sir. And I have a feeling we'll hear you just one.
I'll project. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Under Personnel, Section A, Resignations and Retirements, we have 2 staff members, 1 staff member who is retiring, and 1 staff member who is resigning with effective dates as listed. Item B, leave of absence. Staff members listed for their leave of absence with types of leaves and effective dates as listed. Section C, appointments. Number 1, college student observers for the 2021 school year. 3 names listed. It's important to note that each of the 3 names that are listed are our current employees. Items 2 and 3 is we're asking the board to approve chaperones for the middle school promotion and the high school graduation, which took place earlier this month. Item number 4, mentors for the 2020-2021 school year with mentor teachers as listed and their respective locations. Item number 5, we're asking to approve the affirmative action team for the 2021 school year. Item number 6, staff rate changes. 1 staff person as listed. It's a change from high school to Roving Drive. Item number 7 for the 2020 curriculum writing. Staff members as listed with the respective curriculums that they'll be working on. Under item 8, other A, 1 hit as reported to the board on June 15th. Item number 9, this is for the 2019-2020 testing and training reimbursement for registered behavior technician, and that's retroactive with the names listed. Item number 10, ESY, these are additional recommendations we're asking the board to approve. That's in personnel attachment number 1. Mr. Ferrara, I'd like to read into the minutes also in addition to that attachment. For 2 school nurses for ESY, that's Susan Moore and Kathy Nawazzi with the summer rate of $50. And then item number 11, substitute principals for the 2020-2021 school year as listed. That concludes personnel agenda.
Can I get a motion and a second to accept the personnel agenda?
I'll motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions from the board regarding the personnel agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Ferrara, that moves you to finance, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. So we're starting off on page 1 and 4. On payroll, number 1, that's the June payroll total, along with the June and July bills list. June would be the supplemental bills list after the last meeting, and July would be the initial bills list for the year. Number 2, transfer funds. This is the May transfer report. Number 3 is the board secretary's report. Number 4 is the approval of the insurance premiums for property casualty policies. Number 5 is the renewal of the contract for the ESS support services for substitute staff. Number 6 is the replacement of the gym floor at the middle school. This is the actual component that takes into consideration the installation of the new floor. The abatement is ongoing right now. Number 7 is the recognition and approval of a new booster club. Number 8 is the replacement of the burglar alarm systems of the buildings, and also with that, the installation of the new system that is compliant, for the district to be compliant with Melissa's law. Number 9 is the routine travel, as listed per the board policy and contract. And that concludes finance.
Can I get a motion and a second to accept the finance agenda?
I'll motion. I'll second.
Are there any comments or questions from the board regarding the finance agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Ferrer, do we have any public comments relating to agenda items?
We do not have any emails on the public comments email account.
Ms. Whalens, can we have the late question?
Just with the agenda, was that posted, for the Zoom meeting so people can see it even if they're in trouble hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
With that, do you want to take votes on any action items?
Yes, so we'll start off with curriculum instruction. Mr. Ahern?
Yes.
Ms. Ascoli?
Yes.
Mr. Branham?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Montone?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Ms. Whalen?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Special services? Mr. Ahern?
Going to abstain on numbers 1, 2, 3, and 5. The others, yes.
So yes, with the abstentions on 1, 2, 3, and 5. Thank you, Mr. Ahern. Ms. Ascoli?
Yes.
Mr. Branham?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Montone?
Yes.
Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Ms. Whalen?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Thank you. Personnel, Mr. Ahern?
Yes.
Ms. Ascoli?
Yes.
Mr. Branham?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Montone?
Yes.
Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Ms. Whalen?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
And Finance, Mr. Ahern?
Yes.
Ms. Ascoli?
Yes.
Mr. Branham?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Montone?
Yes.
Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Ms. Whalen?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Friedman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any board members have unfinished business? No, we've got new, but any unfinished? So going to new business, as I had stated in my report, we started off with 4 committees, and those have broken down into some subcommittees. There are 4 board members who are they're the liaison of those committees. As a liaison to those committees, I've asked them to present tonight what their committee is, what the issues that their committee is dealing with. And for board members who are not on that committee or not on a committee, they would be asking any questions to them and copying me. And then it would be that board member who is the liaison to bring those questions to the chairs of those committees. So in my case, I am on the Health and Safety Committee. Each committee, including the one that I'm on, is made up of not just myself, but of administration, as well as faculty, staff, and parents. It is approximately 30 people, I think. It's rough estimates, somewhere between 25 and 30. Questions, obviously, regarding health and safety, there are probably millions, but they've been broken down nicely into a couple of sections, such as social distancing, hygiene, PPE, shared objects, air conditioning operations, cleaning practices, signage, entry screenings, food services, recess, gym, house stuff like that would be handled, any extracurricular, and any facilities and rental use. Those are the other committees that I'm going to have some people talk about with the recess, PE, extracurricular, facilities, rental. So with each committee, and just like what I had said at the beginning, every time we think we can solve a problem by doing something, it causes some other thing to fall off. So we have to not just deal with the immediate problem, but the problems that may flow from that. And it's not easy, it's not simple, but I have to say the collaboration that's been going on my committee with the 30 people has been amazing. It kind of blows my mind really to see, because the groups that have been created here, they all come from different backgrounds, they all have different specialties and nuances. They're really bringing a lot to the table, and so it's really been impressive to see. For example, when we talk about entry screenings, we're not just talking about faculty and staff, we're talking about during the school year, we're talking about visitors, talking about assemblies, we're talking about all sorts of different things that you may not think of. Adding a shield to an area, when I say a shield, one of those plexiglass covers, does that change evacuation drills? Things like that are really what we're considering, and a lot of what we have to work through to make sure that the kids are safe. But I want everyone to be very clear that safety is the #1 priority. It's running a tight first with obviously the education of our students, but during the pandemic, you can't learn if you don't feel safe and you don't feel healthy. So that is really our priority. With that, so if anybody has any questions regarding that from the board, email me. I will then relay it to my committee chairs, and then I will come back with the answer. And every board meeting, we're going to be doing this, and that by way of not just making sure every board member has the same information, but making sure our public is up to speed. I'm looking at you, Sherry, so you want to go next and tell everybody what committee you're on?
Okay, just a quick question. So with the committees that exist, are parents, people in the community still allowed to join in on the committee meetings? Or how, like, is it this committees were set in a certain way?
Well, given that we have to have the plan August 7th out, we're kind of halfway through. So they were recommended by other board members, other administrators. Some have been on committees in the past, and so we know where some of their strengths are. There's a parent who is unbelievable at research and providing data. She's on one of the committees. I don't want to speak on with anybody's name.
If I understand, I've gotten a couple of emails in the last few days, working on return phone calls with them. So I'll work with John, Nellie, and Mike to see if we can place them somewhere. So there was about 2 or 3 people in the last couple of days. So we played a little bit of phone tag, but we're in correspondence. So I'm going to work on that first thing in the morning.
Thank you for answering that. Okay, so I am part of the Policy and Funding Committee. So we've been meeting so far, we had 2 meetings, and this committee also is made up of administrators, directors, parents, staff from different departments, teachers, and probably the same amount of people, so everyone's giving a lot of input. We have the opportunity to go through the existing policies and to also suggest any changes that might be needed for those policies, as well as possibly add new policies due to the circumstances surrounding the new school year. So it was stated in that road back plan, that 104-page plan, about engaging different stakeholders in the conversations and gathering feedback. So in this committee, there was a special document created, and all the teachers, staff, administrators, everyone involved has been going through whichever policy or series of policies that they find something that they want to help change or make a suggestion, and they're putting that on this document, asking questions, making suggestions, so that nothing's missed. Because we all know that the district has, multiple policies that are going to be somehow changed because of this. So if I backtrack to funding first, funding has been shared with the committee. We know that that's going to be changing regularly, so for anyone that's anxious about the funding, we have to wait really to August to get a little bit more of an idea. We know that the state cut our money. We know that there's a loss of revenue from the busing and the preschool, and we're just hoping things are going to work out for the best. Moving on to policies, it's one of the common things that a lot of people have shown concern for is just the idea of even changing, adding that distant learning into a lot of the policies that already are there. Because people seem to think that classroom teaching is different than the distant learning. And there needs to be some sort of similarity shared in a lot of the policies. Because people, for example, conduct, that was one of the policies that people discussed, students' conduct. How to present themselves on a Google Meet, just like they present themselves in the classroom. Another policy that was mentioned that people were concerned about was even the grooming and being dressed for your Google Meet as if you're going to school. So something as simple as that is a concern for teachers as well as parents, because you want your kid up and learning whether they're in the building or not in the building. So that was a part of the discussion. And they're going through all different policies. So I could sit here probably all day and talk about, about 50 policies that already have been mentioned on the doc. But class size, creating positions, now with this new thing by Governor Murphy with all remote learning, will it be a new position? That's a concern. Will teachers only teach virtual learning? So and the questions can go on and on, but we are working on it. The committee meets every week. Any suggestions or comments are welcomed so that we can continue the process. There was a template given out from Strauss Esme that a lot of the districts are using as a guide. It's like a 10-page policy. So we're using that. Mike, Mr. Levin, made it a little bit more user-friendly and understandable. So that we're going to use and then adjust that accordingly to fit the needs of our students.
And just to update the board, we have spoken to David Rubin, who's here virtually as well. Normally, we would do a first read and a second read because of the time crunch. We don't have to do the first and the second. So you will probably get a policy and it won't have a first and second read. It's just a matter of change of procedure for us.
So the policy, let's say, would be approved, but then it can always be changed later on?
Can always be changed later on.
Can I just ask a question? Sherry, when you spoke of like the grooming and attend, like being present and whatever, I'm assuming that you guys also talked about, my concern too is attendance. The kids being there on time in the morning, showing up for their prospective class or whatnot, just for health reasons. It's better for them to be in that routine, but I know a lot of parents are like, my kids don't want to log on, they don't log on until 1 in the afternoon, or like, so have you guys discussed like that attendance as well, or as we have an attendance policy for in-school as versus online? Has that also been shared a little bit?
People are concerned about policy. That's in the 5,000 series of attendance.
Yes.
But we haven't gotten that detailed yet to really figure it out. But it is a consensus that attendance should be taken seriously. It is a school day.
Absolutely.
Because students need 180 days a year. So you can't just casually come in and out of school. You wouldn't do that with your regular daily job. So that is a topic for discussion.
All right, good. Thank you. And Annette, Mrs. Foley, do you mind going next?
Yep. So the committee I'm on is leadership and planning, and that is made up of, again, about 30 people, administrators, teachers, school nurse, and parents in the community. And I also think we're working pretty well together. I think there are a lot of ideas flowing. We've already met 3 times, and we have another meeting this week. So what our committee does is we focus on a number of things. First is the pandemic response team, and we're using the DOE document and board policy to help guide us. We're currently establishing a response team for each building and the district as a whole. We're determining the team's responsibilities. For example, overseeing the implementation of district's reopening plan, the health and safety measures, things like that. We are also looking at scheduling, which is probably one of the most difficult parts of this committee. And really for us, well, for everyone, the most important factor is the health and safety of the students and staff as well. And when we say staff, it's everyone, from the bus drivers to the cafeteria workers, to the teachers, the nursing administration. And it's not just physical health, it's also mental health. We're looking at CDC, DOE, American Academy of Pediatrics for guidance. And also we even have looked at other places that have opened broad child care facilities, just for some guidance. Currently, we're looking at a variety of options, and we're putting a ton of thought into this and planning. And with the updates constantly coming out from the state, we're leaving multiple options on the table currently. We're looking at the needs of the district as a whole, but also the individual schools, as well as our at-risk students. Also, because we know that elementary school students may have different needs than the middle school and the high school students. We've also looked at all the staff surveys as well as all the parent surveys, the kid surveys, and we're taking those into account, reviewing those. I think one of the most important things is just knowing that as a community, we really need to work together and have flexibility. Knowing that the guidance and health data keeps changing and could change throughout the year as well. Also, we focus on staffing and technology. We are considering the specific and unique needs our staff may have as we think about the reopening plans and clearly communicating our expectations and support that we'll be providing. We started talking about staffing plans in the event of absences. We've reviewed technology support that we have in place for the district as well as for each building. We're looking at what we learned from the virtual learning and any areas for improvement, if we need more PD or workshops, and ensuring that all students and staff have the necessary resources available to them. And then the last area we cover is athletics. And with this, we're utilizing the NJSIAA guidance to make sure we're doing what's required for a safe return. We've currently developed a return to play document with procedures and protocols for phase 1 and have been keeping the district updated via emails and messages. That's it so far.
So if anybody has anything to questions or any suggestions to offer, again, please email Mrs. Scully. And then Ms. Osborne, you're in virtual land somewhere. You are.
Yes, good evening. So I'm a part of the Continuity of Instruction Committee. Our committee seems to be small to me. The invites are only about 12 people, which is a mix of administrators, shareholders, teachers, etc. We have met twice already. So during the last meeting, presentation of committee work was presented, work that had been accomplished with original virtual learning and planning in June. That means that, of course, we started the gun a long time ago about doing the virtual learning, and before we knew what the governor's plans were, we had these things already in place, so there's already committees that started the groundwork for that. This week's assignment included members to review the work that was completed initially by the committee that was formed in June. So therefore, we were sent information from Dr. Ross, who is head of our committee, and with the information that he sent to us, he also sent a template to look at it, to add information there, to add comments and suggestions, utilizing planning notes and documents to share new ideas and to comment on previous ideas from the initial committee. Therefore, we're allowed to, tap into whatever resources we have, other school districts that are doing different things, maybe they'll be able to help, and we can just add and share those ideas. We're also reviewing the survey data based on the stockholders' feedback, and also, as Dr. Michael stated, that we're also going to have a new survey out this evening, so I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot to discuss. Our next meeting will be tomorrow, and we're going to discuss the feedback based on the documents that we received last week going forward. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you guys, and like I said, each board meeting we can make sure that everybody is on the same page. So I appreciate that. as you can see, as the public can see, it's a running theme that we are relying heavily on CDC guidelines, medical information, and the science is relying on our district physician, so that what we do is well-reasoned and with the child safety obviously at heart, and our top priority. With that, are there any other new business that we have from the board? Not seeing any, we then go to public comments relating to additional matters. Do we have any in the queue?
I just want to say something. Thank you to everybody in participation for the graduation. It was smooth, it was short and sweet. My daughter who graduated is going to the high school, enjoyed this celebration, and they were able to see all their friends. So thank you to everybody who had a hand in that. It was a beautiful celebration as a parent, to be able to witness, and also to be a member of the board, to see everything come together nice and smooth, no commotion. So I just want to say thank you.
Okay. Not seeing any comments, public comments. With that, be it resolved that a closed session be convened for the purpose of discussing privacy, personnel, and legal matters. The subject matter of these discussions will be disclosed to the public when the reason for confidentiality subsides. Although the board cannot guarantee it, the length of executive session is estimated to be approximately an hour, after which the public meeting of the board shall reconvene and proceed with business. Action will not take place. May I have a motion and a second to go to executive session?
I'll second Osborne.
All in favor?
Aye.